As you know, news of patch 1.6 is out, and yeah, they're making some serious changes. First off, I'll be straight about where my position is. I run Alpha Bridge, I like Alpha Bridge, but I was looking forward to the end of the Alpha Bridge meta because it was getting boring. I wanted other setups to move to the front so I could have a change. I actually wanted a reason to play other builds. There's lots of other armor sets which have interesting possibilities. It's also kind of boring when the game is so full of all this wonderful weapon porn and you get stuck with the same pair of assault rifles for the rest of eternity. I loved goofing around with a main weapon and some totally different secondary that was devastating at short range. Some of the other gear sets look fantastic, but they're just too weak by comparison. And that's my biggest criticism of the whole Alpha Bridge meta. It's not that Alpha Bridge was so overpowered, it's just the other gear sets were either too weak, too bland, or too shitty to play. Alpha Bridge became popular for many reasons, but it's not just because it's faceplant easy to get and overpowered. You see, Alpha Bridge is both a blessing and a curse. On the plus side, combining 6 weapon talents gives you amazing creativity on how to set up your build. It gives massive possibilities for huge DPS, but also it lets you have great uptime in solo PvE because you can afford talents like Predatory and Meticulous and Prepared. On the downside, it's bloody hard to get and harder to perfect. The drop rates are shitty. You spend a fortune recalibrating guns. If you think it's expensive coordinating 3 weapon talents, try getting 6 perfect talents across 2 weapons where one of those weapons has to be a god roll. Ferocious did not roll for me on any weapon for 3 weeks, and literally thousands of Phoenix credits of trying. I honestly started to suspect a little stealth nerf going on, which was my first psychic suspicion at least that Alpha Bridge was about to be the victim of a drive-by. Anyway, also, you get locked into the gear set. You end up with tons of paired guns in the bank. And all of the time there are all these other gun combos and you sit there thinking it would be really nice to rock an assault rifle but have a shotgun as a secondary. Alpha Bridge, you see, brings great rewards, but it also comes at a great cost. So I can honestly say I was looking forward to the changes so I could have an excuse to say, fuck it, I'm going to go and try Firecrest or some other set. I was hoping that an end would come to the Alpha Bridge domination of the meta and there'd be more choices. So let's get to the core of this. What was I hoping for in the changes? Well, I was hoping, perhaps naively, they would look at what made Alpha Bridge great and try and introduce some of that into the other high-end sets, which are currently bland and underperforming. I was hoping they would see that to really customize your setup to make a great build for whatever particular thing you want to do in the game was a magic ingredient, and they would look at some of the other sets and make them better and more versatile and more effective. Like the Firecrest perk of being able to hold 5 incendiary grenades. What the fuck is that? Giving someone the ability to hold more of an item that is as rare as rocking horse shit that you can't go and buy or restock on. That's like giving a fucking tramp a crocodile skin wallet and saying, there you go, now you can keep all your $50 bills crisp and clean. It's just a talent that requires replacing one of many underperforming gear talents that needed boosting. So, what do? Do they fix the other sets? Do they fuck? They decided to just break Alpha Bridge. As of patch 1.6, the 4-set bonus will just give you the last, i.e. the free perk, of the secondary weapon. So instead of getting your 6, you get your 3 on your main gun and you just get 1 perk from the secondary. It's also worth noting And this could just be down to very poor wording at the patch notes, but according to what I read, the talents on the new exotic weapons being introduced in 1.6 will not work with Alpha Bridge. Let's face facts. You wear Alpha Bridge for the current 4-set bonus, combining weapon talents from 2 guns. The other talents are nonsense. 100% health regen out of combat is a fucking nonsense talent. It's like saying, I'll give you as much food as you can eat after every Sunday lunch. Nobody gives a shit about health regen out of combat, because you're not in fucking combat. Your health just goes back to full anyway, and nobody is shooting at you while it does so. It's totally inferior to the 2 and 3 set bonuses on Nomad, and Nomad's a noddy set that drops anywhere. Nomad has 15% health on kill as a 2-set bonus, and the 3-set is constant healing in combat. The Alpha Bridge talent of 5% damage is okay, but it's not reason enough to pursue the set considering its shitty drop rate. Let's get one thing straight. I'm not pissed off about this because I'm an Alpha Bridge fanboy. I'm pissed off because I think breaking the gear set is a lazy solution. I wanted an excuse to try other sets. I wanted Alpha Bridge to not be the meta. I wanted other sets to be more appealing and flexible. I wanted there to be other interesting choices. I'm pissed off because I was really hoping they would take a long hard look at what made Alpha Bridge both popular and successful, capitalise on that, and spread the love to the other high-end gear sets. Because, make no mistake, Alpha Bridge is not the meta in PvE because it's the highest DPS and highest survivability setup. There are other builds that outperform it in both categories, but they're not fun to play. For example, the cookie cutter defense shield build. But do you really want to run Lex 20 times in a day with all 4 of you cunts lumbering around with your ballistic fucking shields, blocking every doorway and every fucking clear shot at the enemy? Christ, having one person do this in a group is a fucking pain in the arse, let alone all 4. Trust me, shield guy is usually always a pain in the arse, and I've run that build and I've been that guy, that annoying shot blocking guy. So reducing the prevalence of Alpha Bridge by breaking it was a cheap shot, and a lazy one at that. Just walking in with the Nerf bat was no answer for this. That's like a dad pissed off that he's bought his kid a bunch of toys and he only plays with the blue aeroplane. Maybe it's time to think why your kid only ever plays with that one toy and make better choices next time you buy him toys. Don't just walk into the playpen, stamp on the blue plane so that the kid has to play with something else. They had an opportunity to make the other sets as great and appealing. Instead, they just nerfed the meta. That's lazy as all fuck, and I admit I'm unimpressed. I guess it's time we all dusted off our ballistic shield builds, chug some tranquilizers, and get used to the next meta. Have a lovely weekend. Peace.